It will always be Ryan's dream to get on ProducerGrind, even after spamming comments on Instagram, after receiving countless YouTube comments of praise for his knowledge on selling beats, and even after making a meme from our company's boss. It just seemed like it would never happen. Now Ryan could have just given up, but he decided to say shit. He went out and purchased a green screen, spent hours photoshopping an image of the set, and made this just for you.
Alrighty boys, so before we get into the gems, I just need to let you know that HEATE is currently running a flash sale for our course, The Constant Conversion Strategy. Now in this course, we have over 65 videos on selling beats, marketing beats, and building a profitable business around the thing that you love to do. The course also includes a whole bunch of templates, checklists, and guides. That way we can make your life a hell of a lot easier. And by the way, for the first 100 producers to sign up for the course, you'll get it for $197, and then after the first 100 until November 21st, you will only pay $247. And you boys already know, if you want to learn more, go ahead and click that link in the description. And how about we fake it till we make it and kick off this interview.
So let's dive into like the business model. So like let's start with like BeatStars. So how many beats should you start off with when you're selling on BeatStars?
It's a good question, man. So I think, of course, everybody wants to have like the perfect answer of like a certain number, but I think you need to be reminded of the business structure and the model and kind of honestly what to expect when you start uploading beats. When you first start uploading, probably your first even 30 to 50 beats, if you're not really doing any external marketing on YouTube or Instagram, you're probably gonna get some few plays on the marketplace, but you know, it's not gonna be anything extreme and you're probably not gonna get any sales. So I think really what it comes down to is understanding that, you know, there's producers where technically with the model we have for selling beats online, you only need one beat, and that one beat can generate you tens of thousands of dollars, right? There's guys like Ant Chamberlain with, I think it was Sky Red, and then Othello Beats made like a Young Ma type beat. And those beats blew up on YouTube with millions of views, and they probably made thousands or tens of thousands in leases from just one single beat. So what I would do if I had to do it all over again to start my beat store is I'd stockpile about 30 beats. And then what I would do is then go ahead and drop them every day on my YouTube and keep up with trying to drive traffic that way. So I don't think there's any perfect number to shoot for. It's just you gotta start.
So like explain those licenses. 'Cause I think producers get, especially like newer producers, I think they spend too much time on like, you know how like on BeatStars is like, okay, you can sell exclusive rights or like radio broadcasting rights. Like kind of explain those licenses.
Robin Wesley, the founder of HEATE, actually made an article. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Online Beat Licensing. It's an amazing article. Like as somebody who felt pretty comfortable selling beats online and understanding the licensing and like being able to answer questions, after reading that article, I was like, oh shit, like some things I'm not 100%, I wasn't right on. And he gives really good examples. And the dude's been through a lot of scenarios where he's had to learn those things and he's had to use those things and he's had to, you know, I mean, even certain companies have reached out to him from that article and like, yo, can you give us more information about this? Because we're writing an article about selling beats online and you seem to be the guy who knows everything about the licensing and the leasing. So I definitely recommend checking out that article, as it'd be way better than me just trying to ramble about it.
Do you really track like the limitations on the lease? Let's say somebody buys a MP3 lease and they go over the numbers. Like, do you really track all that stuff down? Or?
I mean, man, just being honest with you, it's pretty much impossible to really be spot on with that. I mean, there's things like Content ID that exist nowadays and they've helped over time, but you know, to keep somebody honest and to track every small number like that, it's just not possible because the software isn't out like that. Now, I will say that I've had customers, and probably bigger producers can attest to this, is that you'll have customers actually come back and tell you, and they'll be like, yo, I want to upgrade my rights to do this. And like, don't get me wrong, not everybody's out to steal your beat and fuck you over, but it definitely does happen. But I think a lot of times too, in those cases that you look at, you know, your license maybe allows for 10,000 streams and the artist gets like 15,000. Obviously, you're entitled to get money for that person upgrading their lease, but an extra 5,000 streams, it's not like this person is running off with $10,000, $50,000 that you're owed. Most of the time when you're leasing beats, it's going to be to smaller artists who might not go over the threshold, or if they do, it's gonna be very small. And honestly, I think as long as you're not doing like $1 beat licenses or $20 exclusives, you're gonna work with the people who are gonna be honest and who are gonna invest in their music and be willing to pay you. Like, I think a lot of producers think that everyone's out to steal their beats and fuck them over, but as you start working with more quality people and you're not just, charging bottom of the barrel prices for getting certain customers, just being honest, you're probably gonna run less and less into that situation.
Let's get into some salsa, like, let's say Bricks, for example. We're gonna use a industry producer, for example. Like Bricks was very vocal on like, man, don't be selling beat packs or don't be giving away free beats. And like every producer had their opinion, but like, how do you feel as far as like the business model? Like we have beat packs being sold like 10, 15 beats for like $30, or like giving away free beats. Like, what's your input on it?
As of right now, Robin has been testing out like a beat pack upsell of, I think it's like 30 beats for maybe $27. It's something where it's like that offer essentially. And what we found out is it's really not converting all that well. I mean, we're not running a lot of paid ads to it, but Robin gets a lot of traffic just in general. But what we're seeing is it's not really that good of a conversion rate. And honestly, you can still sell beats for normal prices. We'll talk about that soon, but like, don't think that your problem is your pricing and you have to go cheaper. It's probably your branding and having people justify that price for one beat. And like I said, we'll talk about that later, but getting into free beats, I think the issue is a lot of producers don't know why they're giving away free beats or how to execute on it. And like, if you go to YouTube and type in free for profit beats, you're gonna find producers who their whole catalog is like 60 beats all free for profit. It's like you're kind of hustling backwards on that, and then they don't even give you a proper contract for it. It's just completely messed up. So the whole point of giving away a free beat pack is to get somebody's email and get to know them, and hopefully turn that free pack into somebody who purchases a beat, which, don't get me wrong, right? It's easier said than done, but it can be done, and it is being done. Like, when you look at the average conversion rate for an e-commerce store, it's about 1 to 3% of people are actually gonna purchase on your store the first time. And I think for most producers, it's probably fair to say that it's damn near under 1% for most every producer out there, except for, some of the top selling guys, right? But it's a really small rate. But when you offer a free beat pack where you just get somebody's email because it's free and there's nothing they really have to do, you're gonna get probably about 10 to 30% of people to actually sign up for that. And another thing that we do with our course is we're like, okay, you sign up for the free beat pack. Now you have to answer 6 easy questions, like 6 easy questions to get to know more about you as an artist. And if they don't want to answer those 6 easy questions to get a free pack, it helps you qualify your leads and get people on your email list that are serious about their music. Because if somebody's not willing to answer those 6 questions, they're probably not willing to spend money on beats. They just want free beats and they want to dip and, use them, maybe even steal them. Who knows, right? So you got to think about that. And also getting that information that helps you make content for Instagram, YouTube, that helps you write emails to people on your list because you know about these people, you know what genres they create, what their struggles are, blah, blah, blah. And you know also how to write advertisements. So it's like a full 360 thing that producers don't really understand or know how to execute on. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just overlooking all this amazing content in the CCS course that I just purchased. Maybe you're a producer who wants to learn about email marketing, but you have no clue how to set it up or what to even say. You're just clueless about it all. Well, luckily we have templates and we actually have videos going through all the strategies. Maybe you suck at messaging artists on Instagram. I mean, I even literally have a whole 4-part course video that goes into finding and messaging artists on Instagram to sell your beats. Or maybe you want to start running ads and you even have no experience there either. Well, Luke Frapez did over an hour-long guest lecture with me showing up how to set up a Google ad and how he does everything to run his Google ads and make profit selling beats online every month.
Let me ask you this then. So how does a producer justify their prices? Like, if you just started and you like, yo, I'm finna sell leases for 200. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you justify your price? Do you look at your brand and look at your catalog?
Yeah, man. So I think you nailed it right on the head. You have to look at your brand. Like with Kanye, is before the Blueprint and getting on Jay-Z's album, I think he was charging beats like $300, $500, $700. But after the Blueprint and getting placed on Jay-Z's album, he was charging anywhere from like $10,000 to $30,000 for a beat. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Not everybody's gonna get a Jay-Z placement. Not everybody's gonna get a major placement. But what you can do that's almost the exact same nowadays is building a large social media following and building a community, building a fan base, building something that people perceive you as higher value. It's crazy to think, but like clout is very much a thing that gives you value. And that's how you kind of also break the mold of being seen as a commodity, right? So let's say you just started out and you want to sell a beat lease for $200. Well, what's going to happen is, you have 10 subscribers, 15 Instagram followers. This guy who probably has like 200 Instagram followers, 500 subscribers on YouTube, right? The artist is going to go, okay, well, I like both beats. This guy, producer B, with a small following, charges $25. But producer A with an even smaller following and nothing really to him is charging $200 for the same license. I'm gonna go with the guy who's cheaper just because that makes sense. But when you compare that to somebody who already has a brand, like maybe like DJ Payne 1, Ant Chamberlain, Othello Beats, right? These guys who are well established, have a brand, someone like Oh Gosh Leotis or something like that, right? They're like, okay, well, I can pay $100 for an MP3 release from them, which I don't think are their prices, but okay, so I can pay $100 for that MP3 release with these guys who have a well-established following, have a large perceived value on social media, maybe some placements too. Or I can go ahead and pay producer B with a small amount of following $25. Well, when you think about it like a commodity, yeah, producer B makes sense because he's $75 cheaper. But because these guys in like the A tier, right, they have these brands, they have this value to them, perceived value, that $100 makes sense for you to pay. You're like, that is worth it to me. I want to be a part of that. I want to have that producer part of my song.
Let me ask you this. With selling beats in general, like everybody's on YouTube, Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Do you think there's like real longevity with this? Selling beats online?
I think really what you're gonna see is producers are gonna need to start moving like artists and actually getting their personality out, getting something that separates them out and establishing that brand. I know brand's kind of it's a weird thing to talk about because there's not really one word to best describe it other than kind of how people perceive you, that value people give you and kind of what you're known for. I think in 2022, like I said, you're gonna have to move more like a rapper in terms of building a fan base, building a community, building an audience, because I mean, type beats are working for some people and whatnot, but there's so many producers who've been doing it for months now. And, they've seen very small growth, they're seeing nothing. And it just kind of baffles me that like nobody ever thinks to try something different. You know what I mean? So moving forward in the future of type beats, it's going to be more reliant on you double down on your marketing and actually getting yourself out there and building up a fan base and building up a community around your production.